Hi everyone, this is I Am Spoon with a new game of Brass. I'm very excited about this game. It was played very recently and they were all very good players with a very close ending and very little mistakes. I'm playing yellow this game, so I'm here on the top, not red like usual. Um, Immediately we start looking, as always, at our cards, at the merchant setup, and what should strike your eye here is this is a very good cotton layout. You see here cotton in Birmingham, accessible from Birmingham in Oxford, and same here, cotton available from Nottingham. This is pretty much almost perfect setup for cotton. When I look at my own cards, I notice I have two Belper cards, I have a Derby card, that's quite good. I'm missing a Birmingham card, so ideally you want to build your cotton here and then up north, but I'm missing the Birmingham card. Yeah, still I decided to go for it, to say let's do it, and maybe I'll draw the Birmingham card later. There's quite a few of them, so there's still a fair chance of drawing it. Other players, red goes first and loans. I think then teal develops his spear away. I also develop here, immediately go for cotton. I think you can either loan or develop on the first turn. Some people also sometimes go for a canal. That's maybe in some rare cases okay. Weirdly enough, on some forums or in the Discord, people are saying you should always loan first, no matter what. I don't agree. I think develop is totally fine. Even develop for 6 is totally acceptable if you know what you're gonna do. And in here, I know what I want to do. This is a very good cotton setup. I immediately develop cotton. So yeah, loan or develop, or very rarely canal, but you really need to know what you're doing then if you're going with a canal. Yeah, and what's kind of the key idea here of going big cotton? You want to get your level 3 out of cotton, you want to develop all the rest, so 3 develops at least, and then build 2 or ideally 3 level 3 cottons. Sell with the merchant beer, sometimes with your own beer as well, or with someone else's beer. This is not so easy. It's a very tight build. You need to really not make any mistakes. And in practice, I'd say 1/3 to half of the games you're not able to sell 3 cottons. You have to cut back, scale back to 2 cottons, but it's still possible to win with 2 cottons if you didn't play well in rail. So yeah, I'm looking at my cards, and maybe one thing to highlight here is I don't have any iron cards at all. I know I have Derby, but I want to use Derby to build cotton, of course. So I don't have any iron cards at all. I don't have any coal cards except Coventry, and this is often the case if you go for a coal strategy in Canal. You basically wait the other link up, typically Dudley and Coventry. Those are, I'd say, are the 2 common ones. And when they build the links to build their iron, you afterwards feed off their links and build the coal. That's pretty ideal. You don't want to build links for your coal too much. You want to profit from other people's links. And yeah, let me speed up a little bit the game. I've cut out some small parts where some players, especially Teal, was thinking for 8 minutes for one move. But I think the rest of the game is fairly quick and smooth. And these are good players. They know what you're doing. So they're playing fairly fast. So this is typical start of Brass. People build iron mines, develop, loan, and kind of continues like this. Nothing really special. I would really like to draw the Birmingham card. I'm thinking always of my hand management. I would like to draw the Birmingham card. Because I'm going to build coal in Coventry anyway, I also really would like to have the Dudley card, so that the moment someone builds in Dudley, I can profit from that and build there as well. Yeah, it is my turn, and I continue developing and take a loan. And in my develop here, I make sure to develop away the level 1 coal, so I can immediately access the level 2 coal. When you go with high level cotton, sorry, you always get 1 extra develop that you can put wherever you want. Now this is an important moment here in the game. I want to build in Coventry to flip my coal mine. Ideally, I would loan and then build a coal mine, and it would basically erase all my loans here. The coal mine, it would bring me back in positive income. However, if I do that, I'm kind of locked into Coventry. I'm not able to build canals out of this, and I don't want to end up being completely locked. I want to build in Derby and Belper, and if no one builds there, I'm just stuck there. So I built first a canal up north, making use of the rule that you can build your first building wherever you want, and then only I am building in Coventry. I don't connect to market. This would be another possibility because I don't want to help out people that will build an iron in Derby. This is kind of a habit. As a good player, you never want to build links to help other players. But arguably, this could have been an exception. I could have built a link here. I built a link here, and I know there's only 2 Belper cards. One I had, I played already, and the other one I have. So I have the 2 Belper cards. No one else is going to be able to build here unless they scout. My cards, they're not so good. They're mostly beer cards like Valsall, Stafford, Burton-on-Trent. Very good if you're going for a break strategy. Unfortunately, I'm going for a completely different strategy, and I have a bit of bad luck here with the cards. I mean, I knew it already from the very beginning. I would have ideally had a Birmingham card in hand, but it is what it is, and we kind of continue with this. And I think this is the moment where Teal takes a really long time to play their move. No, okay, it continues, yes. So we have 3 players now going for iron. I think if 3 players go for iron, it's good if the 4th player goes call. Iron is quite strong, but if everyone goes iron, then it makes sense for you to do something else and go call and make use of the links they build for you to kind of build your call. If only 2 players go iron, iron might end up being a bit too strong, where they can make too many points to get the level 2, the level 3, maybe even the level 4 iron, and then these players are kind of ahead. But I'd say 3 iron, 1 coal, or some mix like that, which is fair, and something at high level play you will often see this. Yes, so red is overbuilding his level 1 iron by his level 2, fairly standard moves. As I said at the beginning, this is just like develop, build iron, loaning. That's the very standard early game brass. So we have basically the 3 other players are all going for some brick strategy, it seems, with 2 level 2 crates with some beer and combination of iron and coal. Very common, very standard. And so from my side, I develop once more. And here I'm pausing and hesitating a lot. I think no one is going to connect this link here to the market, so I probably have to do it myself. But I don't like doing it because it will help the others. They will be able to feed off my links. Amongst good players, you want to minimize the number of canals you build. The number of links you build in Canal Age should be ideally as low as possible. In practice, 2 is often, you can rarely do less than 2. 3 is also okay, but 4 is already on the high side. If you're systematically building 4 canals, you're probably doing something wrong. So yeah, purple feeds off my lengths. I think it was pretty much inevitable here that this would turn out like this. Yeah, I guess I just had to accept it. But I think purple is a player to look here at in Canal. He played, say, his Canal Age was very strong, very solid, and pretty much the ideal brick opening or the brick canal area. Getting out your iron, your beer, your crates. You will see a bit afterwards. Yeah, it's still fairly early, just developing. At this stage, it's more and more looking like I'm not going to get the Birmingham card, so I might have to scout to build in Birmingham or build in Walsall a level 1 beer and then link to Birmingham and build in Birmingham. Yeah, forced to build here immediately because I fear otherwise the spot will be gone. So yeah, this typically happens high level play. People feed off each other's canals all the time, but I'm still fairly certain I will get Belper. I will be able to build in Belper. even though orange scouted, he used his wild location cards here. So I'm fairly safe for Belper, no one else can go there. And there I can build my second high-level cotton, and then I would build my third in Birmingham with scouting, for example. And I could build a beer of my own in Valsal. There's only one card and I have it, or maybe use someone else's beer. Purple ends up overbuilding his level 1 by his level 3, so he's doing quite well. If he's able to build 2 beers, 2 crates, and flip this, and then he has the level 2 and the level 3 iron, he's in a very good spot. It's easily 70 points or more in the Canal Age if you manage to get all of those out. And here Teal surprises me and scouts. Yeah, I think in general when you go break strategy, is it really necessary to scout? Like often this is a strategy that's so lenient on cards, you should rarely scout. But okay, you can scout if you can profit. And unfortunately Teal ends up stealing my spot. And this puts a bit of a dummer on my Canal Age. It's looking like I'm not gonna get 3 high-level cottons out, and even more than that. To get my second one out, I also need to scout as well. So it's really a bit unfortunate. I could have maybe not played this Canal and just waited a bit longer. I thought I have the 2 Belper cards, I'm fairly safe, but turns out I wasn't. And people were able to feed off my links, although they had to scout for it. But I could have maybe not played this Canal, waited for it, and only played it now, for example, like build the Canal and build immediately the high-level cotton. Still, nothing is lost, as I said at the very beginning. You want to get out 3 high-level cottons out, 3 level 3s, but 2 is also acceptable and playable, and you just instead loan up a bit more and go into rail with more cash compared to a 3 if you get 3 of them out. So I think this is still playable. Yeah. For me, the possibilities are either to scout and then build in Birmingham, or maybe build in Valsal a level 1, build a level 1 beer, and then link to Birmingham and play from there. It's important when you're in Canal that you really do the math here. You know all your cards. You have 6 cards left here. How much money will it cost? Are you gonna get here? So I end up taking a loan and building a coal in Belper. So I've got 2 coals out. I think ideally 1 is good enough, but 2 is okay. So I have a good cash. I have already positive income. This is looking okay income-wise. And then unfortunately I have to scout. I think ideally you don't scout. If I had a Birmingham card, I wouldn't scout. But in this situation, I'm not entirely sure. I could have also built in Valsal a link to it, but at the time when I was thinking of it, I didn't want to do it. I think I was afraid. I'm not entirely sure why I didn't want to do it. Maybe I was just short some money or so. I end up building here in Birmingham, and I'll only be able to flip 2 of them. I'll just use the merchant beer basically, and with the rest of the actions I'll just loan, and I'll end up going with like 80 cash or so into rail, which is very good. Like if you're a bit behind in points but you have 80 cash, you have a fair shot in rail. And as we see, the other players are all building basically 2 level 2 crates and 2 beers. I think actually purple ends up building 1 less beer, only building 1 level 2 beer, and then selling using the merchant beer as well. The merchant beer in Nottingham, it's really nice. 3 victory points is pretty much the best there is. There's of course this one here in Shrewsbury, which gives 4 victory points, but it's harder in Canal to really connect to it and to make it work. So in Canal, this is often kind of the main merchant beer that actually matters. And we are waiting here for purple to decide. Let me accelerate a little bit through their moves, but yeah, oh sorry, it's teal displaying here. So teal, sorry, no, it's purple. I was correct, purple. So purple builds a level 2 crate, and here we end up with very standard play from the brick players. Right, so 2 level 2 crates, 2 level 2 beers, some iron, coal 1 developed away so that you can start using it in real. This is very standard. I think purple managed slightly better by getting out this level 3 iron, and yeah, you see here in high level play this always tends to happen. At the end of Canal, people just loan and sell. Everyone loans and sells basically. There's 2 reasons for it. It's very efficient to loan and sell in the same term, based on how this income marker works. And in rail, you want to start rail with ideally enough cash to double rail at least, so that you can immediately at start of rail build links when coal is still fairly cheap, right? Only 3-4 coins for the first player, and fight for the best links. Get access to the high level links, typically around Uttoxeter here in the north, and then around Birmingham in the south. So you see basically everyone is just loan and sell. Gray here makes probably a mistake. He tries to get to level 3 iron out, but in the end there's just 1 iron left and it doesn't flip. And as a consequence it doesn't score at the end of Canal, and he's a bit short money going into rail. And he will go last at the start of rail. I think this is probably the first mistake we really see here, like big mistake, I'd say, where yeah, Teal falls a bit behind in Canal because of this. I think he should have instead tried to get a 3rd beer out. He wouldn't be able to flip it, of course, but he would have had access to it at the start of rail to double rail of it. Or that's probably, I mean, I haven't checked exactly what his best move was, but well, that's my intuition. He should have tried to get a 3rd beer out. Beer spots, they're scarce and they quickly go away. Okay, let's have a look here at the scoring here, the intermediary scoring at the beginning of Canal. As usual, this is the official scoring, but mentally you should add to it all the level 2 buildings or higher buildings that are still on the board, because they will score again. So in reality here, the score is that purple has 69 points, which is fairly good. Like, I'd say 75 is good. If you have less than 75, you need to make up for it with cash, but or with like a very good income or cash. But purple is really making up for it with almost 80 cash. That's basically like 2-3 loans worth of actions here available in cash. So purple is doing really well, and yeah, just looking back at it, he didn't scout. He built only 2 canals, which is very efficient. You don't want to, you want to minimize your canals. Got also a very good value out of the canals, 2 times. So kind of 2 times 6 points. It's hard in Canal to do better. So didn't scout, only 2 canals, got good value out of those canals. Was able to get a merchant beer bonus, and able to get the level 2 and the level 3 iron out. The only maybe weakness is that he didn't get an extra beer out. But as you see, a very good score, and very good economy behind it. Very good cash for starting a rail, and he will also be the first player into rail. So it's fairly obvious. It was fairly obvious to everyone that purple was winning here at this stage. Now, from my side, I only have 57 points. It's not ideal. If I had gotten 1 extra, if I had a Birmingham card or something like that, I think I could have gotten 75 points. Or if I had gotten the 3rd cotton out, I could have gotten 75 points. But I make up for it with a good amount of cash, and also in rail. Towards mid or end rail, it's hard to score a lot of points if you have this developed, right? No high level beers, just some low level crates, just a level 4 iron is still quite valuable, and maybe the level 1 pottery. From my side, I will have access to these in mid to end rail, which will be very valuable. So I think I still have a shot here. Might be maybe a little bit behind compared to purple, but not by a huge margin. Then we have red. Red has 59 points, so slightly more than me. Also has a very healthy amount of cash, 62 cash, I believe, and okay income. So red played, I'd say, let us say, a very standard brick, not exceptionally good, but yeah, like very standard brick. And then gray or teal here is lost. Um, he has 66 points, which is higher than yellow or red, but has so little economy behind it that yeah, he will struggle. But he will, on the first round in real, will need to loan immediately and will be lost. So my ranking would be purple is currently winning. I'm just behind it. Red is just behind it, and then teal is at the moment losing. But it's still fairly narrow and still a very close game. Anything could happen here. Yeah, that's kind of my assessment here at the end of Canal. And yeah, from my side, a bit less than ideal that I had to scout. Maybe also my Canal here to Belper was not a good move. I should have waited. I ended up, yeah, helping Teal here, or Teal ended up stealing my slot. I'm not sure I really helped him because he had to scout for it, but for sure he ended up stealing my spot, and that's not something you want. We're all arguing here about who's winning and who's not, and okay, we start the rail area. Okay, let's immediately look a bit at my hand, and immediately I see, yes, I have two Kidderminsters, I have a Worcester card, and here you see the importance of where you build your cotton at the start in Canal. If you're going big cotton, you want to build your cotton in Birmingham and Derby. These are very good locations. The reason is that so that in rail, these locations, they're accessible to you and you only. These are not dual use locations, they're single use. No one else has developed cotton, so only you can build there and you're guaranteed to have the slots. If you've built in these locations in Canal, it gets more tricky in rail. You can of course build in Thamesworth and Nuneaton and Leek, etc. But these are all dual use locations that very quickly could be taken by other players just to build their coal, for example. So I find that quite annoying, and I prefer to keep Worcester and Kidderminster free so that in rail I'm guaranteed to be able to build there my cotton. Yeah, so kind of what is the general game plan of cotton in rail? You want to build, I'd say, 4 to 6 links early on. You want to contest the high value links, make sure the brick players are not getting all the high value links, but you're getting some of them as well. And I'd say 4 to 6. Yeah, just making sure you have access to for example, Worcester and Kidderminster. You've contest some of the links around Birmingham, some of them in the north. And then once it's mid-rail, you start just building your high-level cotton, like loan build, or build a coal mine, build a cotton, and yeah. So these are good players. They immediately contest the high-value links. Purple immediately builds towards Utok Cedar. Red builds around it as well. I'm building around Birmingham. Yeah, I mean, these links here, this was only worth 7 points. Often this one ends up being worth more than 7 points. This one is also worth 6 points, probably 7 by end of the game. And same around Birmingham, these are all worth 6, 7 points. 6 or more is kind of good. And you have to imagine a bit how it will look in endgame. Some of these spots will be filled. Typically Coventry here, all of this will end up filled. Nuneaton often as well. Locations that might not be filled is things like Leek, maybe Canuck. These might not end up being filled. Yeah, I'd say most games end up like 90% filled, but not 100. So here it's a bit awkward for Teal. He needs to loan, then builds a rail. And you see here how kind of Purple only had to pay 17, and I'm 2 spots later already need to pay 21 for slightly worse links. So this is pretty typical of high-level play at start of rail. We see also the price of coal immediately basically jumps to the maximum within 1 turn. This always happens. Yeah. And when I look at my cards, so I'm quite happy. I have all the cards I need here to build cotton on the bottom. Ideally, I also have a pottery card, so I could build some pottery. I think I have the Belper card, so I could build the pottery in Belper, but ideally, yeah, that's the kind of thing you want to look out for. And then I'm not building any iron at all. You could think of developing level 1 and 2 and then build your level 3, but it's not always good. So I think here I'm not interested in going iron at all. Here, Purple ends up doing a very strange move, which probably loses him the game. he is building a coal mine and 2 beers here in Coldbrookdale, and he was explaining, well, someone else will probably be able to use it, but then I'll be able to use in the start of next turn. He will be able to use. Yeah, sorry, do a bit of accounting here. So his thinking was, I'll build the coal there, I'll build the beer there, and then start of next stage, I will still have 1 beer left there that I can make use of. Of course, it's very risky. In my view, it's a mistake. You know, someone could have the Coldbrookdale card, build the iron mine, and then double link of it. Someone could build in Wolverhampton or in Kidderminster. Actually, I could because I have the Kidderminster cards, and then double rail. And this is then exactly what ends up happening. So this is really like a thank you move. You're giving free call at the time when the call price is max, so 8. You end up giving free call to red, and red gets to build also a very good iron mine. So this really brings red back into the game, and I think, yeah, this was a thank you move by purple. I think purple was saying, well, the odds of it happening is low, but I don't agree. Like, anyone could build here in Kidderminster or Wolverhampton a coal mine and then double link of this. So yeah, red will double link, and I will end up doing the same. So these are good links. They're worth 6 points each by the end of the game, and plus the iron mine. Of course, iron is very strong point-wise, so you want to get it out, and there's fairly limited spots. And if you get to build it with free coal, and you get to build 2 links when there's free coal, that's very good for red. Fortunately for me, there's no free coal, but I end up also double linking. So at this stage I have 4 links out. These are probably the minimum links you want to get out. So you have access to 2 locations. You've contested some of the high value spots, but there's still some high value links remaining around Birmingham. The one from Derby to Belper is also 5-6 points potentially. Yeah. Don't build too much coal. I always say this, but here these are good players, so they're not making this mistake. When the coal price is very high, it's often worse to build coal. It's like half a loan, basically, plus some income, plus a little bit of points. But if the coal price is low, coal is just really not such a strong industry. But at this stage here, you will see sometimes people build some coal mines, bring back the price down to, let's say, 5, maybe 4, but not much lower than this. If the price of coal is 5 or 4, you don't really want to build a coal mine. Teal ends up building a couple of extra links here. Yeah, we're basically fighting for the last valuable links, I'd say. This one is worth already 4 points, potentially more, probably 6. He wants to access it to build crates, I guess. And we here from our side also still build. So this is really typical cotton play. You fight for the links. You don't build your cotton yet. There's no rush to build your cotton. You want to fight the other players for the links, and then in the second part of rail you build your cottons, because they will run out of good moves to do. It's kind of typical of brick. It's like, yeah, mid rail there's nothing really to do anymore apart from maybe getting out some iron if you still have left, or the level 1 pottery is still quite solid. But the rest is just really not so strong. Past mid rail, you don't really score 5 points per actions at that stage. But as a column player, of course, you're still scoring more than 5 points per action. So here orange is playing, and yeah, we're basically still fighting over the last valuable links, I'd say. Mostly around Birmingham. And he ends up hesitating a bit. I'm accelerating slightly through this part, as it takes like 5 minutes to decide which rail to take. But in the end, he decides to link to Stafford. From my side, again, I could start building the high-level cotton, but it's still a bit too early. I have a good amount of cash left, and I think there are a couple of valuable links to contest. So I built from Birmingham to Tamsworth. It's worth 4 points, probably more, 5 or 6 by end of the game, plus could maybe still build there, depending on the cards I get or so. Or I don't exactly remember what I was thinking. Oh, to build a coal there as well. And I also built to Belper so that I can build there level 1 pottery and sell. And it's still worth 5-6 points. So I think now pretty much all the high value links are gone. There's still some interesting spots, like if you want to get the farm brewery, you could link towards the farm brewery and then use the farm brewery to sell a high level industry. But other than that, yeah. And Teal ends up building here in Valsal and then double railing. But you see here, double rail when the price is at max and the links he's getting are not top notch. Which one is it? What's he getting? I didn't see. I think he got Birmingham to Redditch, which is still decent. And did he get this one? I'm not entirely sure. Okay, these two are still decent, I guess. But yeah, if you double rail and the price is there, you're paying more than 30. So this gets very expensive. Double rail is very strong, but more like early rail when the coal price is not max, when you really have the very valuable links. I'd say mid to late rail. It is still a solid choice, just maybe a little overrated. Yeah. So now he's placing down his second link, and as you can see, the second link is like, it's not so strong. It's worth 3 points, maybe 4 or 5 at most, but it's not guaranteed. Yeah. And as always, you should always look at this in high level play. The price of coal always is very high. No one is pushing it down to super low values, but people build a bit, typically before they rail, so that they kind of bring the price a bit down and then immediately bring the price up again. This secures red the farm brewery. I think securing the farm brewery is good if you afterwards follow it up with high level industries. Like in the second part of rail, you stop building links, you build some maybe level 5 crate or level 1 and then level 3 pottery, and then use your farm brewery to sell. This I find quite strong. But to double rail now, it's not so strong anymore. The links are maybe worth 4 points and the coal price is very high. So similar to before. So yeah, I would seek to secure a farm brewery when I really have some high level industries to sell. Otherwise, I feel like you could just skip it. Yeah, unless it's kind of given to you. And I'm systematically lost here in rail because I'm spending the most. But that's a good sign. If you're spending the most, it's probably because you're doing very efficient actions. So at this stage, I built my level 1 pottery. Why? You have 2 options. You can choose to really just only focus on cotton, but the advantage of going level 1 pottery is that the price is cheaper, it's only 2 less points, it denies the spot to others, especially brick players. They run out of good moves, so I want to deny them this action. And also I'm thinking, oh, I could maybe build in Stoke-on-Trent, connect, and then use the beer there, or maybe use this beer. Which is 3 points. Yeah, this would be nice to sell to use this beer. Yeah. So at this stage, I'm starting now to build my high level crates. And how you do it is you basically load and build, or you build a coal mine and build. You kind of alternate between that, and every turn you do that, and you're basically scoring 6-7 points. Well, depending on what you're exactly doing, but you're scoring on average something like 6 points per action at a stage of the game where in the links are worth maybe 4 points per action. So you're getting ahead of all the other players at this stage. Purple manages to get his level 4 out, so that's quite strong, but I think he just kind of messed up a bit early there, and in consequence he doesn't have that many links compared to us. So he's still doing fine-ish, but not, I'd say, I wouldn't be confident as the purple player. And we see also the purple player develop the way his crates. I'd say the idea here is to build, for example, 1 or 2 level 5s here in Wolverhampton, so you can profit from the extra link value, and then overbuild one of your own beers, or if you have a farm brewery, use the farm brewery and then sell them. It's okay-ish. It's not super great, but you're in the second part of rail. What else are you gonna do? So that's kind of an idea. 1 develop, and then you build some level 5s and then try to control the links around it and sell. To do it in Birmingham is like, of course, the dream, but this is pretty much impossible in practice in 4 players. In 2 players, yes, it's possible. In 3 players, sometimes. But in 4 players, people will see it coming, and or they will fight for the links already immediately at the start. So you won't be able to do that. You have to do it on some smaller location like Wolverhampton or maybe Stoke-on-Trent or so. Teal here does, I think, a good move. Builds the level 1 pottery, and then immediately sells. This is basically scoring him 13 points in 2 moves, so 6.5 points per move. Costs a bit of money, but not too much. And yeah, I think it's very, very solid. And I think from Teal, I was a bit critical in Canal for Teal, but in Rail, I haven't really seen any mistake or so. Felt very okay, I'd say, very, very solid. Typical break. You play from time to time a call just to kind of sustain you economy-wise, but not too much. Call is not that strong. I mean, the price is now 4. You don't really want to build at that price. You try to get your level 4 iron out. You try to get your pottery out. You try to get extra beer out. Yeah, that's kind of the standard, very boring break. Don't try to go for high-level crates. Don't try anything fancy. Just build rails, build iron, build your pottery. Here and there a coal. Yeah, and from my side, just keep building, keep loaning, get all the high-level ones out. I will basically build 3 cottons and 1 pottery, and then to sell I need 4 beer. I can use 2 of this pot for myself, and then I can use 2 from the market. You could even think of building 1 extra cotton and using the beer here from the market. I would be able to even sell 5 industries. That would be the dream, and I was thinking of it during this game because I have the Stoke-on-Trent cards, but some people would need to connect it for me, and then everything needs to work out just fine, and I think in the end I just run 1 action short of doing it. Yeah, I remember I was trying to convince Red to build for me a link, and I think he then kind of changes his mind and moves the red link back elsewhere. So I'm not really helped here, right? I cannot really use my Stoke-on-Trent card if it's not connected. As the price of iron has been very low here in this rail compared to usual, I'd say. I think Teal ends up with an interesting idea, but it doesn't fully work out, and he kind of fell a bit behind in rail with his weird Colebrook-Dale move. But Purple ends up developing high-level crates and building high-level crates, skipping the level 5s. Originally I thought this would be the move, or this I would say it's the more usual move. I'm not saying the better move, but the more usual move. Instead, he ends up skipping the level 5s and go for the very high level crates, so the 6, 7, 8 levels. And yeah, it's interesting. The high level crates are very hard to make work. High level crates are arguably just a tad bit underpowered. I've played them myself a couple of times in 4 players, and the best I've managed is to get 2nd place. Yeah, it just feels a little bit too weak. It's like if everything goes fine and everything, all the cards are in your favor and the merchant setup is right, etc., then you still like only get a okay score. You don't reach 155 or 160. You get more, maybe 150, and that's really if everything works fine. It's very easy to mess up or screw up with high level crates. Maybe I should discuss it in a separate video, or I should make a separate video of me going high level crates. But it's not easy to win, to be fair. But interesting idea from Purple. But you see, right, when you count his rails, he only has 2 rails here and 3 rails here. So he only has 5 rails. I have already 6. Teal has also, I think, more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 5-ish. But Purple could have done better, could have done more. I feel like he squandered a bit his lead he had from Canal. He could have done more. Yes, and so here it's a bit awkward. Red basically builds beer and the spots are still available, but yeah, some of the other people get to make use of it, and the links he's getting are only okay-ish. Yeah, I know. I guess it's okay. Maybe I'm too critical here. But I feel like if you secure a farm brewery, you kind of ideally combine it with a high-level industry or so, like level 3 pottery or level 5 crate maybe. That's just kind of my feeling. And here Purple is building here this level 5, 6. This level 7 crate is not worth any link value, so this basically loses Red probably 2 points, and Teal also 1 point. It's the strength of these high-level crates is that you can manipulate link value, and on paper this you should be able to exploit this, and this should give a certain strength to crates, which is also more flexible than cotton in general. But in practice, it's just a tad bit not good enough. I mean, here he's basically denying Red 2 points and Teal 1 point. Maybe it's not even sure that the spot would have been built. So it's like, okay. I mean, yeah. So for the rest, I think pretty standard. I think Gray ends up really having a very decent rail after a somewhat difficult canal. He ends up building his level 1 pottery, get the +3 victory point merchant bonus. He ends up building his level 4 iron. Not too much coal, as you should, and kind of very okay, clean break in rail. At least that's kind of how I would play break in rail. Yeah, from my side, just keep building now the cotton, yeah, I think I'm basically like 1 action short to build my last one. I've built all of them except the last one. So yeah, I have my 3 cottons here. That was my plan from the beginning of rail. I have my pottery, and then I'll just build a beer here in the farm brewery and sell. At this stage, I'm quite confident that I've won the game. Actually, it's I felt Purple was really ahead, but kind of messed up the rail, I was just on his heels, not too far behind, and my rail is just like, this is how it should be. This is how you should play beer in rail. Contest the links, then build your rail, build your cotton, build the beer, and sell. Red, a bit unfortunate, needs to scout to get the beer in the farm brewery. But then again, it's 7 points. It's pretty good. Gets the double rail once more. So I think Red has played quite well in rail. He got a bit lucky that he was able to feed off Purple's mistake. Much more than I was, for example. I mean, getting basically 3 free coal and 6 links here. So I think Red kind of caught back up a bit with that, and for the rest didn't really make too many mistakes. I think I would rather have preferred to use the farm brewery for an industry, but okay, not a huge difference. Yeah, maybe 1 or 2 points or so. So Red double links and builds a coal. Yeah, this is just the very end of the game. People are grabbing the last points. I'm just selling my industries. Not much else to say here. But yeah, we were discussing here who was winning, who was ahead. Very hard to say. I think there were no overbuilds at all this game, which is, I'd say, fairly rare. I mean, overbuilds tend to happen, but then again, they're also not super common. Depends a bit. So here we had actually no overbuild at all this game, and these could have swung the game because this ends up being very close. I'm curious, like, pause here the video for a second and think, like, who's winning, who's really ahead, right? So Purple will build level 8 crate, getting all of them out except 1 basically, and sell. He had a very strong canal, but doesn't have too many links and doesn't have much else. I mean, he has his level 4 iron now, so Purple definitely has a good score, but it feels like it misses this thing to get to 155. It's just like solid, but just not there yet. And that was my thinking also for Teal and Red. Their canal was maybe just 1 notch too low for what it should have been. So yeah, I'm thinking I'm here ahead, and then yeah, let's look at the score. These last things here, okay, just people optimizing their last trail, doesn't matter too much. And purple builds the level 8 crate and then sells. And these high level crates are very efficient from a beer perspective, so that's what I like about them compared to the level 5, which is really just annoying, cumbersome. The fact that you need to have 2 beers, which means you always need to use some beer from the board. Just merchant beer is not good enough. Yeah. And then from my side, very straightforward. Build the beer, sell everything, and get the 3 extra victory points. So yeah, my canal layer was not the best. I'm not proud of it. I think it was okayish, but not as good as it should have been probably. Or yeah, the other players played well, and I got maybe a bit unlucky with the cards. Or I should not have gone cotton with such cards. But in the end, yeah, these are the final results here, and we end up in a very close range of, I mean, 9 points of difference between the first and the last. So very small difference. Let me bring back the score. Sorry. And I end up winning by a small margin. And it shows here cotton, high-level cotton can totally work. Yes, even if you develop on turn 1 with at a high-level price of iron of 3 coins, right? So 6. I had to pay 6 to develop on the first turn. I had a bit of bad luck with the cards, only managed to sell 2 cottons, and yet in the end I still win because high-level cotton is just really strong. And if the merchant setup is right, it's just a very strong strategy, right? Of course, I got 6 points from this merchant here in Nottingham. If this had been instead of 6 points, this had been like 5 coins in Canal and 5 coins in Rail, it would have been a different story. So kind of the merchant setup really matters a lot when selecting a strategy. What works, what you want to do, and what doesn't work. And yeah, I think that's kind of it in a nutshell. Very good players in general, very little mistakes. They're all like intermediary to upper level, and I think you got won a bit on me really using the merchant setup to my advantage. Okay, that's kind of it. If you like it, please subscribe, leave a comment below, let me know what you want to see next, and see you guys on TTS or on Parlor. Ciao, Spoon.